What's up, nerds? Welcome to DNA Pow Block, DNA's all Nintendo show. Pow Block. So me and Joe used to. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Jerrigan, and alongside me, well, it's a normal occurrence now. My friends from World 1-1 podcast and part of the DNA crew by default, Edward Varnell and Adrian.
Hello.
Hey everybody, what's up?
So glad to be doing another Pow Block episode.
Yes.
You know why? Because
Why?
I love the topic today.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we've got two topics for you today. First topic is going to be how Mario has stayed relevant for 30 plus years, and the second topic is the Wii U's generation in review. Now I know there's a couple games still coming out for it. You know, Super Mario Color or Paper Mario Color Splash, Zelda, obviously, but the meat of the Wii U's life cycle is over, and these are kind of like swan songs. So
They will be supported in 2017 with more games, so we'll see.
we got a robot Edward.
Yeah.
Oh,
Robo
dang it.
Eddie.
Robot Edward.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. So, how Mario has stayed relevant for what is it now? Like over 30 years now?
Yeah, like 31-ish.
Yeah, I think so. It is a very good question, but I think Mario is one of those. It's like Mickey Mouse, really. It just except on video games. Anything you put out on Mario instantly sells well, and it's recognizable, and it's just great. So generation after generation, people still grow up with Mario, even though like most kids this day, they like their Call of Duties and they like their Battlefields and whatnot. Still, they know who Mario is, and that I think there is something really magical about that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Mario stayed relevant because of all the amazing games that Mario keeps appearing in, and like, I really think he's still relevant because of the awesome Super Mario Brothers movie that they made. But
I think he's easier to market, and his games have appealed to everybody. So, as a kid, you feel accomplished making your own Mario level from Super Mario Maker, or actually being a Mario game, while parents are finding out that the Mario games are kind of hard when you're trying to 100% the 3D ones.
yeah, I mean, even Super Mario World is hard. Like all these, like here's the thing. The Super Mario games since Super Mario Brothers have been so good at teaching you how to play their games without actually telling you what to do. Like you look at World 1-1. There's a Goomba coming straight at you. If you don't jump over that Goomba, you're screwed, right? And that teaches you how, the jumping mechanics and the different things you can do with the jump mechanic alone. And then you get to the spaced out platforms that you need to sprint. Well, it doesn't tell you how to sprint, so you have to figure that stuff out. And if you don't sprint, some of these jumps you're not gonna make it. I just feel like over the years, each game, we moved to Mario 64. It doesn't really tell you how to play the game. You kind of just figure it out in the courtyard. You jump, you learn how to swim in the courtyard, you learn how to jump. You learn how to run, walk, tiptoe, based on how far you move the joystick forward. Mario just has this. He just keeps evolving, and the games keep getting better and better. Even the new Super Mario Brothers games are great at feeding you information on how to play the game, and then progressively add new mechanics and adding the new mechanics to the old mechanics to make a more challenging level is just the way Mario games have always been, and that's why I think Mario stays relevant. Yeah, he's easy to market because he's a universal type character. He's not not aimed towards kids. He's not aimed towards adults. He's not a mature character. He's just a universally he's universally easier to market. And it's that's why he stayed relevant, I think. And like Adrian
He's kind
said, it's like Mickey Mouse, you know, like Mickey Mouse isn't necessarily a kid's character. He's just an easy character to form a company around, and that way you can market things with a character that's universally loved.
well for gamers. He represents video games. He mostly represents Nintendo. Like, um, I think as like Mario being relevant, his power ups are like almost on the same level as Mario himself. Like the one up mushroom is popular. Everybody could recognize that. You know, they could draw that. His star, his firepower. Um, ever since the Tanuki suit was introduced, people got more into
The yellow
Raccoon
cape,
Mario.
Yoshi, like all these things are
Yeah,
just part of Mario. Like those things are universally loved throughout, you know, the gaming culture. You know, it's just even today, like you know, Wreck-It Ralph came out a few years ago, and like he throws the mushroom out of the box, you know, along with Snake's exclamation point, and like
Yeah.
that's. I mean, you know, it's not like a super huge moment, but it's a cool nod, and it shows you like, yeah, that Mario is everywhere.
it,
So
it's kind of it's kind of describing good and evil. Like if you want to tell somebody what would represent good, it would be Mario. If you want to see who represents evil, it would be King Koopa slash Bowser, depending on, because you could easily explain to a kid what good and evil is using Mario and Bowser. Like to have a good Mario game,
just
you
don't let
gotta
them play
have.
Donkey Kong Jr.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. No, but you know, like other than that, like the entire Mario universe as a whole, it's something that is so well established in pop culture right now, right? Just like you guys said, the power ups are very recognizable. Yoshi is another like good example, right? Like everybody knows who Yoshi is, everybody knows who Bowser is. Even my niece, she likes playing on her iPad. She's not a gamer per se. She just like plays with her iPad and watch some cartoons here and there. But she grabbed like a piece of paper and she drew like a triangle with three triangles inside. And I was
Mhm.
like, "Where you got that from?" And she was like, "That's Zelda." And I was like, "Yeah, actually, that's very." This was, a couple of years ago. She was still kind of like a baby back then. But I was very impressed. And then she grabbed like another piece of paper and she drew a mushroom. And she said like, "That's Mario." And I was like, "Man, that's amazing how." I think she was like 5 or something like that, right? Like this 5-year-old, like I haven't really introduced her into games yet because I didn't spend a lot of time with her, but she knows that like the brand recognition, it's so big, it's so strong that she knows, hey, mushroom is from Mario, and she knows it's red as well, right? Like the red one is the one that makes him go boop, boop, and grow up. The green one makes a different sound. That's what you said. Makes a different sound, and then one up appears on top of Mario. So it's just fantastic how Mario doesn't matter which generation you're from, you know him, you know the universe, you know the characters, you know the power ups, and World 1-1 again. It's an excellent example of like very intelligent game design, right? Like that was one of my first classes when I was studying game design. How the game teaches you everything you need to do, to know in that one level, and nothing else. You don't need to learn anything else besides what's there in that level. How you run and how you jump. That's about it. The power ups, oh, that's an extra thing that you didn't know, and that's really cool. But it's not like you need the power ups to beat the game. Of course, it will make things easier, but you don't need them. And it's just brilliant how throughout the years Mario has appeared on many spin-off games. Some of my favorites again, like Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, are some of my favorite spin-off games from the Mario series. They don't have to like they don't have to make you spend half an hour or an hour or many more hours in the tutorial explaining you how to do things. You just know by playing their games, and I think that is really the big reason why Mario is still relevant today.
Yeah, and plus Mario is funny at times. Like the way they use him in the Paper Mario series, the way Bowser Inside Story is still one of my favorite comedic games of the Mario universe. It's just completely funny, and a lot of people don't realize that Mario alone, like his games, kind of changed video games in general. Like if we talk about 3D control and cameras, we always go to Mario 64. If we talk about arcade racing games like go kart and stuff. Huh?
Robot voice for a second there.
Oh, dang it.
No, but you're fine now. Sorry. So just continue.
We talk about arcade fun kind of go kart games. Mario Kart did that. If we probably was amazed that no one was able to do what Super Mario Galaxy has done with putting him in space and making you actually feel that way. Like you would think, like this is kind of new and different. You know how Super Mario Wii or Super Mario New Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers Wii U, and the 3DS, well, not the 3D, the DS one, but how 4-player Mario could really make you hate friends. You know, something that simple could bring so much chaos, but it also could create more memories and more fun. Like you never experienced something like that from Nintendo. And the Mario series just does it right. Like people were happy that Super Mario RPG came back on our console. Like they love that game.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to talk about kind of our first memories of Mario for a little bit real quick before we head into this giant Wii U discussion. But the way I started playing Mario was Super Mario Brothers 2 was my first Super Mario game. And
Yes.
like I know that's not like a very popular
Starting
point. You shut your mouth. It is the best Mario.
Such a great game.
Shut your mouth. I would drive to Canada.
You drove to
Wow.
Canada.
I know. You are right. I did, and it was a blast.
You caramel Mexican. Stop it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. Sana's family was so awesome while we were up there. It was amazing. But
You know, I'm literally still jealous with the food that you
I
two talking
know,
about.
it was so good. Oh, it was so
Still
good.
jealous
It was
you
the
didn't
best.
Come to visit.
It was the best food I've ever had in my life. How far are you away from Toronto?
Far. I actually don't blame you for not coming. Like a driveway. It's very far.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'm
yeah.
7 or 9 hours from Toronto. Because I know if I go through Detroit, Michigan, cross over a Southern Bridge, I'll be into Canada. Then I'll just have to find Toronto that way. So I'm not too far.
I think I'm at least half a day's worth of driving from Toronto.
Okay.
Because you're in Edmonds, right?
Yeah, I'm in Alberta, which is like two and a half provinces away, ish. Anyway, sorry.
Anyways, Mario 2, and like I'm sure you guys both started with either like 1 or 3 or maybe even Super.
I started with 1 and Mario Brothers on the Atari. So
man, I forgot about that. That one's coming on the NES Mini, isn't it?
Yes, I'm excited about that.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, the NES Mini, that's gonna be so amazing. That's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for the Super Nintendo. Next week's topic should be what should be on the SNES.
We had a discussion on World 1-1.
So everybody listen to episode 16 of World 1-1 podcast, and you'll hear our discussion on what should be on the Mario Super NES Mini. And it's a train wreck, but it's so funny, and we just love video games. We're very passionate.
It just went to hell so quickly.
I'm working on getting World 1-1 on the website, so
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I still stand by that the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past should not be on the Super NES Mini. I
What?
stand still by that.
Yeah, Corey, don't engage. Don't
Get
engage.
out of here.
This is-
Anyways, before I start hating everyone in this show, both of you.
For a few minutes,
Mario,
they did love us again.
my NES experience was a little bit different than most people's. Where like my cousin had always had to have the latest and greatest system, and like I would always get his hand-me-downs.
Oh.
So like, I got a Game Boy right when it came out. My grandma bought it for me, and I had Tetris and boxing, and then he got me Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Game Boy. But then I got his NES like a year
Yes.
later, and he gave me all of his games that went with it. But for some reason, like he didn't have Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I ended up getting that later, and I started with Super Mario Brothers 2, and I just remembered that first, like where you pick your character. I'm like, wow, this is kind of interesting. But like I already knew about like picking characters in games. I didn't think it was weird because in Turtles you could pick your character, you can pick which turtle you wanted. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Right.
And like I would always pick Toad because Toad looks the most ridiculous when he's running.
He does.
And I just remember that first scene when you're falling down, like the that black screen and all the like the enemies are there, and you have to go through the door to get into the first world or the first level, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so just iconic for me as an NES owner. And like, you go down those pipes to get to the dark world, and like you can find hearts and keys and secrets, and then some of them you go down and there's the scary face mask that flies around and chases you around the level. I'm like,
yes,
oh,
I love him. He was frightening to me, but he was the Silent Hill enemy in Super Mario Brothers 2 to me, because I dropped that key and I was out. I was just like, I know I gotta open up this door, but I picked up that key and hightailed it out of there.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then he ended up getting another NES because he was mad that he gave me his, and we would go over to my grandma's and we would play Double Dragon, Mega Man 2 and 3, and like, Castlevania and all these other games that I didn't have but he had. And like my NES collection is very small, but it is, I love that system so much, just because it's your first major system. Like we had an Atari, but it was my dad's. I mean, we played it together, and the only game I really remember off Atari was Kaboom. But like,
oh goodness,
oh my gosh, that NES.
I could run you a list of NES games I have, from Blaster Master, Bionic Commando, Rygar, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge was my birthday gift, Rain Kings, Kung Fu. Just like my range of NES games was like impossible to touch.
Yeah, and then like I remember when my cousin got a Genesis, he ended up giving me his Genesis because he got a Super Nintendo instead. And I remember trading in like Mickey's Fantasia Magic or something, and a
Castle
bunch
of Illusion?
No, it wasn't Castle of Illusion. It was a Fantasia game.
Really?
Like it had the word Fantasia in the title.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of crappy Sega Genesis games that he gave me. And I remember I traded in, like, this was the first time I'd ever traded in any games. We went to this little store by our house called The Exchange, and I traded in a bunch of Genesis games, and I got 2 games. I got Barkley Shut Up and Jam, which was a which was a NBA Jam like rip-off game, and I ended up getting Metroid for NES because I still have an NES hooked up, because when you're like 6 or 7, you don't pay attention to like generations or anything. Well, maybe you guys did. I still
haven't beaten Metroid all these years.
Dude, Metroid, that first Metroid game, it's clunky and it's got some weird. It's very hard, but and I realized that Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion and some of the games that came out afterwards are like way better, but Metroid is like, the original Metroid is one of my favorite games of all time. It is on my top 10 list.
I actually need to buy 1 and I need to buy 2 because I never played 2. I know it's on 3DS and I need to buy it. Actually, I would love to do a Metroid retrospective and really go through most of the games.
Yeah, we should do that. That's going to be a setup on our website. Thanks for the idea, Edward.
Well, Metroid Prime Federation Force is coming out, so.
I know the demo, the Blast Ball demo's out. Did you guys download it?
I have not, no.
I have
That
not.
reminds me. Where is my 3DS? I need to download that. It's back there.
No, my Nintendo experience in the other days was even different and probably more limited than you guys. Of course, I didn't grow up with an NES. I was old already. No, I was a kid when the NES was like living, and the Super Nintendo was kind of like entering-ish, right? But I grew up with a Sega Genesis. I was a Sega kid. The few Nintendo games that I played when I was a kid were through my cousins, and like, you know what? For the life of me, chances are my first Mario game was Super Mario Bros. 1, maybe even Super Mario Bros. 3. I do remember in grade 6 I play Super Mario Land 2 on Game Boy, that a friend had it. But I think my first...
Such a good game.
It is a fantastic game, yeah. A great music, too.
Yes.
The Mario game that I have the most memories with, the one that to this day, it is still my favorite Mario game, is playing on my Game Boy Advance the remake of Super Mario World. And, I mean, oh my god, did I love that game. Like, all I did when I got that game was playing Super Mario World back and forth all the time. I probably went through like 100 AA batteries on my Game Boy Advance just playing that remake. I was obsessed to the point that I remember 100% in it, and I was sad when I did it because there was nothing else to do. I was like, well, like, what now? Like, where do I go from here?
It's so weird that you mentioned that game, Super Mario World on the Game Boy Advance. Because I don't think the Game Boy Advance had any original Mario platforming games. I think it had just Mario Kart.
Robot
and-
Boys.
Huh?
Robot Boys.
Robot Boys. Oh. Edward's having a robot voice moment.
He always
Just Google this.
I know. I need to get on Lee. Lee. He's building my PC for me, and it's coming along. But I cannot wait till that thing comes. It's gonna be so nice. It's gonna be so nice.
It's just
But,
weird that the Game Boy Advance didn't have a original Mario platform game. Like what New Super Mario Bros. Was the
Robot
first
Boys.
Robot Boys.
I'll be right back again.
Okay.
Ah.
No, but yeah, that was my experience with Mario. That's the experience that I remember the most. And you know, like after that, playing Mario Kart Double Dash with my friends, playing Mario Kart 64, of course. I mean, who didn't? Playing Mario Strikers on GameCube, or I remember when I got Galaxy for the first time on the Wii. I was already in university, and all I could think about was going back home and play Mario Galaxy. Like, I was doing bad in school actually for a while there, because I wouldn't study just because I wanted to play Mario Galaxy. I was super crazy about it. Mario 64. I mean, who doesn't remember the first time they played Mario 64? I mean, honestly.
I do. I didn't even open my I think I told this story on the show before, but I remember when I got my N64 and I opened Super Mario 64, and I didn't even open the rest of my presents till later that night because I wanted to get playing that game, because I had seen it at Toys R Us, and like, you know, they had that demo that was like a 15-minute demo or whatever, and then it would reset and it's, thank you for playing. You know, it was just like, oh my gosh, I just
You know what?
That's how,
there's something funny about that though. Again, because I don't fully remember me playing Mario Bros. Or Super Mario Bros. With my cousins or anything. Like, that's like very foggy. I honestly, sorry, I don't remember my first Mario game. But like, I didn't get the fact or how big it was that Mario was now walking on 3D, that he was a full 3D character, that platforming was a whole new thing, and that he was talking too. Like in my brain, like I didn't process that until way later in my life, where I was like, oh wait, Mario didn't always talk. Like that was something that was added later. Like, I mean, what? Like it was hard to understand after a couple of years playing Mario 64 that was a thing that was new in this game, and it was just like mind breaking.
That's if you didn't know the Mario had a cartoon.
Yeah, like I remember watching the Mario Super Show and him being like super New York Italian guy, and then you go to Mario 64 and he's like super regular Italian guy. And I'm like, what? Hold on.
Yeah,
it took me a minute. It took a minute for that switch to flip. That I was like, oh, okay, Nintendo is like kind of changing the way we view Mario after that awful Mario Brothers movie, and then like because Bob Hoskins had that terrible New York accent too, and I was like, oh, okay. So
yeah, and you know what? Like I do remember watching the cartoon, and of course I watched the movie when I was a kid as well. But even so, like none of that really settled on my brain until later.
Yeah,
I remember watching the Super Mario live show and then watching Zelda on Fridays. They did Super Mario World on NBC on Saturdays, and I lost my mind when I seen Super Mario Brothers 3 on The Wizard.
I remember the first time I saw like Super Mario 3 was in Three Ninjas.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
Because I was obsessed with Three Ninjas for a long time, and like this was like right before Mario 3 came out. Three Ninjas had come out on like VHS, and I was watching.
Which one were you?
Oh man, I thought I was Colt, man. Colt was the best.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds the same.
What about Surf Ninjas that had the Game Gear?
Oh, I know the time Game Gear, and those like, oh my gosh, that's the only reason why I got a Game Gear was because of Surf Ninjas. Like that is the sole reason I got a Game Gear, and I regretted it. That was like, can I have my Game Boy now?
I used to play Mortal Kombat on Game Gear because my best friend.
And then they made a Surf Ninjas game for Game Gear, and it was terrible.
Terrible, yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Before we wrap up the Mario topic, well, I guess it is kind of wrapping up the Mario topic. But speaking of Sega, did you see that new Sonic game that's coming out? I think we talked a little bit about it on DualShock, but oh my gosh, the game looks cool.
Yeah. While we was talking on DualShock, I watched it and I was just like, oh, okay.
I hope it's good.
Right.
I hope it's good. I really do. Any final thoughts on Mario and how he's still relevant before we move on to the Wii U?
I don't know what they have. I don't know what they have planned for the NX, but I really cannot wait to see where they take Mario. I hope they continue to make some more side games, and I just hope people still love Mario after we leave this generation. Like when we leave this world, not death and stuff. I hope that people just realize how important Mario still is and how people just get into his games and play them and see how historic he's been to the video game industry and just in general.
Yeah.
And also bring Mario Kart Double Dash to Wii U and NX Nintendo. Come on.
I hope there's a Double Dash mode in the next Mario Kart. That's all I want. We talked about that last week, I think.
Yes. I want to pop more people with red shells. That's what I love doing.
I just to wrap up, I think one of Mario's success is just being adorable and not caring about story driven or anything that like that people are caring about games nowadays. Mario's Mario. He's good at what he does, and he does it really well. And that's one of the keys of his success for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Favorite Mario game?
Favorite Mario game, Super Mario World.
Ooh. I know I said Super Mario Brothers 2, but my favorite has to be well, I can't say Yoshi's Island because that's a side game. We know it has Mario in it.
No, it's Super
Um,
Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island.
um, Super Mario 3D World. I I adore that game.
That
From
game is
music.
way better than it has any right to be. Like,
Oh, it's
I'm
I
so upset that people are like legitimately skipping it because it's not a
and it's
Galaxy or a new Super Mario Brothers.
and it's 1999. Like everybody should like if you own a Wii, you should have that game. Like I went on Facebook and I went on Twitter. Like every time I finished the level, I was posting a status, be like, okay, I love this level, but it probably has one of the best soundtracks ever. I love the NES and the Super NES. Like I love all the Mario games, but I was just like I would go to a live concert if they played the whole Super Mario 3D World soundtrack. I would pay $100 to hear that.
Yeah, that game is man, that game's great. Adrian, what's your favorite?
Super
Oh, you
Mario
said
World,
Super Mario
hands
World,
down.
right?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's for 2D. If I were to say one 3D game, I would say Galaxy for sure.
you guys are putting me in a pickle here.
We busted our butts to get that video game book club ready. that Super Mario Galaxy discussion is amazing still. We were
Well, hold
busting our
on.
tails.
Quick question though. Does Paper Mario count in the Mario games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll put Paper Mario 64 first, and then Super Mario World.
Thousand Year Door would be better.
I'm not far into a Thousand Year Door to just say that out loud. So I'm just gonna put 64 because I played that game many times. I'm playing it right now, and it's wonderful.
And I did enjoy the Wii version. Super Paper Mario, like that version. That one was pretty nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right. What
Man,
about you,
what's
Corey? Favorite Mario game?
I don't know. There's so many good ones. I
It's
would.
probably gonna be Mario Brothers 2 because that was the start.
No. Well, it's in my top three for sure. But I think like Super Mario 3D World, it's gonna go 3, 2, 1. Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario 3D World, and Super Mario 64. In that, like 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna have
But
to
you
say
said
it. What?
but you only have to pick one.
I know
'Cause
it's gonna be Mario 64, and like it's so hard because it's like picking a a $5 bill and then a $5 bill from like 5 years ago. Like there are so it's I don't know. There's so many great Mario games. Like I love Super Mario 3 for specific reasons, and I love Super Mario World for specific reasons. But like the three that stand out to me are just Mario Brothers 2 because it was my first Mario experience, and then Mario 3D World because it's the most recent one I've played and I loved it so much. And then Super Mario 64 was like the game I always tell people that got me like hardcore into games and like reading every single gaming magazine that came out, like not just Nintendo Power, was Super Mario 64, and it came out at an age where I was like, I didn't understand games all that much for a while, and like everybody had Super Nintendo and I had Sega Genesis, so my gaming experience was kind of isolated, and I had great experience on NES, but I was kind of young to be understanding the mechanics of Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior or games like that, and like Mario 64 was the one that kind of pushed me into the
3D world.
yeah. So yeah.
Can I mention Super Mario Sunshine? I think it's one of the GameCube's greatest games on that system. I know everybody say Metroid Prime and Eternal Darkness and stuff, but Super Mario Sunshine
Twilight
with
Princess.
with the Calypso music, the water is still like one of the best things that happen in video games with water. Like it's 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 one of my favorites. And that challenge in the game. If you try to get everything, it's gonna deliver to you a challenge. Because when they remove everything and it becomes N64 meets Dark Souls difficulty, like you not only have to pay attention to your shadow, that shadow has to land precisely on something so you can have correct platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. GameCube, I guess this is a good transition, kind of, but the GameCube and the Wii U have a ton of similarities for me, including the fact that a lot of their games were sort of experimental, a change of pace for their franchises. They gave us, both those systems gave us great games and great new franchises like Pikmin on GameCube, and then moving on to Splatoon on the Wii U. Great experiments that turned out to be fantastic. Pikmin is still one of my favorite Nintendo franchises that I think is severely underrated and severely under talked about. I think it's a great way to. It's almost like a beginner's real-time strategy game almost, and it's one of the best things to come out of Nintendo in a long time, in terms of new franchises. So with that, we're gonna jump into our Wii U generation discussion. Now, Adrian, I know that you don't have a lot of time left, so if you just type in when you're ready to go, when you need to go, just type it in the chat. Maybe we'll just continue this talk next week, like we always continue a talk like the N64 one. But our generation in review, Wii U, severely underappreciated console, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had a lot.
The one thing that I love the most about the Wii U, it's just like the GameCube. The games are gonna worth so much money in a couple of years, and it's going to become a very important collector's items in Nintendo history, and we're going to be one of the few people that are going to be saying, yeah, we love this system from the get-go, and that's not something that a lot of people will be able to say.
Yeah, I bought my Wii U on day one. I went in, I pre-ordered it from GameStop because I thought that, every time a new system comes out, there's like a line out the door and there's people waiting, and I didn't want like a Wii situation again where me and my cousins stayed out all night waiting in line at a Toys R Us to get one on launch day. And I pre-ordered it, and there's like 10 people there to get this system. And I was kind of like confused. I was like, this is a new Nintendo console. Where is everybody? Like, get in here. There's this greatest machine alive coming out. And like I got New Super Mario Brothers U, and I got Darksiders 2, and I got Nintendo Land, which came with the console. So
yeah, my mom actually bought it for me for my birthday, and I actually busted out in tears on Optional Opinion straight live during the recording that I had a Wii U. Like, it was so unexpected, and ever since I got that system, I'm just amazed at what's been done on it, and the games that I play on the system. Like, I still think that Bayonetta 2 is better than Shovel Knight, but it produced a lot of great indie titles. The controller is not only a good TV remote when you can't find it,
I
but
know.
it feels so comfortable on in my hands, and I love kind of like watching YouTube and Hulu and stuff on there, putting it like my headphones on, and being able to see this content on the screen without having to be interrupted by anybody or be using the TV stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Adrian,
think
don't worry because I bought
think
Shovel Knight on Wii U when it came out day one.
I feel like I played all of New Super Mario Brothers U on the gamepad because it was so convenient. It was so cool, and
Yeah.
like, and I played most of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on the gamepad. It was like the greatest thing I've ever had, and then like PlayStation tried to do it with the Vita, but it wasn't as good because let's face it, the Vita is kind of it's okay, it's all right. Shovel Knight is great on Vita though, also.
It's the only good Vita game.
Persona 4 is good.
That's no, that's
PlayStation
not
2
good.
game doesn't count.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it's interesting when I really think about it. The Wii U was probably the first the first Nintendo console on which I had money to buy on day one. Um, yeah, that I had money to buy on day one because I was working. However, like I didn't know anything about it when it first came out. I miss like the last couple of E3s
Hmm.
before. It was just it was I had a time on which I was transitioning between many things. Had a lot on my mind. I had a lot on my plate, and I kind of like moved away from video games. Probably the darkest time on my life, on which I wasn't gaming or anything. I was just school, work, and just dealing with personal stuff. So I remember one time a store here was closing in Canada. Target had bought Sellers, which was a retailer here, and they were just like selling everything out. Everything out. It was going away. And I remember going into the store, and I got a brand new Wii. Right? I got a brand new Wii again because mine had broken for like $50, something like that. And it was the old white one that was backwards compatible with GameCube and it still had the ports. So I knew that was rare, and I was like, yes, I need one of those. So I got that for $50, and I got a Skyward Sword for like $15. So I was like, man, just like 65, $75, something like that. And I just had like an amazing haul, and I'm going home right now, and I'm going to be playing games. And I remember going to EB Games later to pick something. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I went to EB Games to pick something, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the Wii U is coming out next week. You can just put like a $50 deposit and blah blah blah, all that thing." And I just dismissed it. I don't know why. Like I didn't know what the Wii U was, and I was just very happy that I got a Wii again. But I just totally forgot about that. However, I remember after that, when it actually came out, I started reading more and stuff like that, and I was just like, man, this thing looks amazing. Like I want to play Nintendo Land, and I want to play all these really cool mini games that they're showing. Darksiders 2 was another thing that looked amazing on Wii U, and I was like, I don't know what this game is, but I want to play it. But now I didn't have the money because of that, right? Because I had one in a Wii and I had to pay some bills and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, now like I missed my opportunity to buy a Nintendo console on day one, and I'm missing that, and I'm very disappointed. However, when this beautiful title got released, was when I got my Wii U. I got the
Did you
Hyrule
get the Zelda
edition.
one?
Yeah, the Hyrule edition, The Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker HD Wii U, which has a beautiful gamepad that has the Triforce in the middle and Helium written on the sides. Just beautiful. And I got that, and man, was I happy when I got it.
Adrian, I could just mirror you right now.
No, it was.
Yeah. I
I
actually
was so
almost
happy.
traded in my launch Wii U for that Wii U just because I wanted the gamepad. And like my GameStop actually has two used ones. I've been like I've been trying to get friendly with them to see if I could be like, hey, can I just have the gamepad because the console looks the same, right? It's the console's
Yeah, the
still.
console is the same. It's
Yeah,
just like
I was to say.
I was like, can I just bring my gamepad in here and get one of those ones? Just swap them out. Just swap them out.
just slip him at 20 or something like that.
If they do a blue Wii U for Breath of the Wild, I might just double dip and get it. Just be like, you know what?
You think they
Yeah.
will though?
You know that
I
is
mean,
that is a good. That
The
is a
Wii was
good.
so different because it sold so much. Like then they produced different colors, but the Wii U didn't sell very many consoles comparatively.
That is a good question though. Um, I was super disappointed when I heard that there was a Marker 8 edition for the Wii U, and I was just like, that's dope. Like it has the game inside and it has the steering wheel and whatnot. Man, it's probably gonna be a red console. I was like super into it. When it actually came out, it was just like the same regular console, but it had the game and the steering wheel. I was just like, hold on, no, like. I mean, why didn't you paint it red? Like, it would have taken too long to do so, and I think it was a missed opportunity, to be honest. Same thing with the Splatoon. Like, why didn't you have like just like a bunch of splash marks
Yeah, I know.
everywhere on
I
the
was thinking the
console?
same thing.
That would have
Like,
been dope.
yeah, I know. They could have done so many cool things this generation, especially because, like, even like Super Mario Maker, like they could have made like a bot, like a
Oh goodness, I
console
would
with
want
like some 8-bit sprites on top of
Oh
it, like,
yeah, exactly.
or like
I
Mario
want a
Kart could have
yellow
had
Wii
like
U now.
a checkered flag, or like I don't know. I just feel like there's so many games they could have done something cool with, or like even like Zombie U when it launched, like they could have had like a. I know this would isn't like a kid's version of the console or anything, but like a blood splatter thing similar to like what Gears of War is doing for the Xbox One Slim.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they could have done so many different things, or even like Pikmin. Or Star Fox could have had like a silver one that looked like there with like blue
Ooh.
marks.
Like the Arwing.
Yeah.
That would have been beautiful, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like
would've bought that.
like a silver one with some like dark blue trim or something.
like you know what? You want to sell Wii U's? You should have launched a Mario Maker 30th anniversary special edition of the Wii U.
Oh, I
You
want a
put-
yellow one.
I
You
know.
put a yellow exactly. You put like a yellow console with like an embroidered something 30th anniversary logo on the console
With the 8-bit Mario.
with the 8-bit Mario. That's it. I would have bought
they could
another.
have had They could have had a killer bundle. They could have had like that console with the 30th anniversary amiibo and the boxed edition of Super Mario Maker, the one with the art book and everything,
Yeah.
and sold it for like $50 more than the regular console or something.
$349, $99.
Man,
Oh,
we need to be
we
on
would've
Nintendo's marketing team.
We would have got phone calls at my job seeing how much do we have it in stock. Like, yeah, you better come in because we're not holding this console. Better yet, I should surrender my credit card to one just to get one.
Oh,
Yeah, it
man.
was a missed opportunity, and it's very sad. But I think the Wii U will be remembered down the line as the console that could, but sadly didn't. Because
What
I
if
mean,
I just thought, sorry to interrupt, but Yoshi's Woolly World one, what if it was like
Oh,
a textile outside, like looking thing? Oh,
yeah, that would have been beautiful for sure. Yeah, like they could have done so many interesting things with the console, which makes me really sad that they didn't.
Corey, I love you. Marry me.
No, man,
yeah.
just get married already.
Yeah, I just like, oh my gosh, that would have been amazing. Or, I don't know, Shovel Knight could have had one. That would have been cool.
Oh, a Shovel Knight would have been amazing. But like an NES remix one, a Captain Toad, a Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Like there's
Yeah,
so many
Donkey Kong
cool
could have
games.
come with a yellow console or like a yellow controller like it did for N64. That would have been like a cool
Yeah.
throwback thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Banana yellow N64 controller all the way.
There is so many missed opportunities for sure, and it's sad and it's disappointing. However, I had tons of fun with my Wii U. Again, I have a collection here of games that I just showed a while ago. I have physical only. I have Wind Waker HD, Shovel Knight, Marker 8, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, Bayonetta 2 and 1, of course. Um, Rodia the Sky Soldier, don't judge me. Sonic Boom, don't judge me. Wonderful 101, NES Remix Pack, Hyrule Wars, Watch Dogs, Captain Joe, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Nintendo Land, Wii Fit U, Pocket Tournament, Tokyo Mirror Session Sharp FE, and that's not even counting the digital games that I have on my console. All the cool little indie games, all the cool other
eShop
games.
games.
Yeah, it's eShop games that I got. All the amazing lineup of virtual console stuff that I have on my Wii U as well. There's so many.
DS games, like even still compatible with Wii games that they put on the system. Like they expanded. Like I tell people, the Wii U became almost like 8 systems in one.
Yeah, I wish. The one thing about Wii U I wish they would have cleaned up a little bit was the virtual consoles, the eShop. I feel like their store is a little disoriented, but like there's so many games on the virtual console. Like it's just this Nintendo. Like I always said, like when the Wii came out, I was like, whatever they make next, which ended up being the Wii U. What if they launched like a virtual console box alongside it that was like $100, and like because that's kind of what the Wii almost ended up being, at least for me. Like I probably have 120 games on my virtual console on Wii.
Right.
Yeah.
that I just transferred over via SD card and watched a little Pikmin carry all my games over. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
so.
you know what? Like something else. Yes, we did talk about the gamepad and how the off-screen TV play is one of the greatest features ever. Especially when you have like a girlfriend or something that wants to watch something else and you just want a game, you can just use that instead. The Pro Controller, it's one of the controllers that I've loved the most in recent years. It just like it feels great in your hands. It has a great grip. Everything is laid out exactly where it's supposed to be. The D-pad is amazing. Most consoles nowadays have an awful D-pad. The D-pad on the Pro Controller is just great, and the battery life is really
Nintendo's patented D-pad.
exactly.
Right.
It's just fantastic.
It's that like as I do have a couple issues with that controller, like the sticks. I don't like them both up high like that. But everything that you play on Virtual Console and stuff, like the button layout and everything, is exactly where it's supposed to be.
It feels
Like,
so right. Yeah.
especially when you're playing
Yeah.
like Super Nintendo games. Like I've been watching Game Informer's Super Replay. They do the show called Super Replay where they play through old games, and like
Uh-huh.
I was watching the Super Metroid one, and it made me really really want to go back and play Super Metroid. So I re-downloaded it on Virtual Console, and like I played probably a half hour of it, and it just feels so good. It's almost honestly like playing a Super NES almost, like the way the buttons are laid out and stuff. It's
Uh-huh.
just it feels so good, and like the emulation on the Virtual Console games for the most part is pretty spot on.
Spot on.
Yeah.
It-
There's a
it's-
couple standouts though, like Super Castlevania 4 on at least the Wii version is
Uh-huh.
kind of like
Yeah.
it needs some work, but like most of the first party games are just like spot on.
It's very weird, how people feel like the Wii U was underwhelming. I feel like it was kind of dangerous to see Nintendo even touch HD, make you feel like, dang, I'm like, we play HD games, but the way that they use our art style and this looks really good. Like if you look at Bayonetta 2, you'd be like, crap, like why was a system that's supposed to be underpowered able to handle a game this beautiful?
Yeah,
Like-
and like we forget, like this is Nintendo's first HD console. Like the whole beginning of the generation, they were learning how to do HD.
Pikmin 3 would make you pause the game and just look on how gorgeous
I
it
can't
is.
tell you how many times I would just stop and stare at the fruit in Pikmin 3.
Oh my goodness, that game, like, it makes you really be like, yeah, it looks like y'all just took a GoPro camera and just stuck it in somebody's like garden and took pictures. Like,
I
it
know.
looks so good. Not to say that what a Metroid game would have looked like on Wii U, like built from the ground up. Like, if Retro Studios or whoever took him of a Metroid game for Wii U, it probably would have looked almost one of the gorgeous games on that system. Like,
Yeah.
see, to see Mother Brain in HD if they brought her back, I
I mean,
probably
and they
would
just
drop my
tease
jaw.
that. They tease Metroid in Super Smash Brothers so much. Like, there's two versions of Samus in there. There's multiple Metroid levels, and I'm just like, I seriously, like, because Metroid is, it just, I want to see an HD Metroid so bad. I don't even care if they do, like, I would love to see Retro do the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze treatment on a Metroid game and give us a, like, fully 2.5D Metroid. I would kill for that. I
So
think
Retro, please redo Metroid Zero Mission and make it HD, so I could just like lose my mind and buy like all the copies.
like I think a 2D Metroid in the style of like New Super Mario Brothers or Donkey Kong would be amazing. And Retro already knows Metroid super well from doing Metroid Prime, and like the Donkey Kong Country Returns games are, I think they're kind of underappreciated. I don't think they're quite as good as, the new Super Mario Brothers games, but I think Tropical Freeze was awesome.
Oh
I think it was
yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
You know what?
and to put that time and effort into a Metroid game, I'm just like, my face is melting.
That really speaks of Nintendo's creativity when it comes to art styles, for sure, right? Like Yoshi Wally World, it's one of the best examples of how you can make something look so beautiful out of yarn. Like, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And to make it look in HD, beautiful graphics, beautiful gameplay, it's just great. Like, I remember the first time that I saw the Smash trailer and how like Link's hair was just like flapping about and like all those tiny little details. Donkey Kong's like fur as well, right? On Tropical Freeze. You mentioned the fruits on Pikmin. That is another great example, right?
Kirby's Rainbow Curse.
Yeah.
That game.
Exactly.
It
And that
looks
was
like somebody who's just like poking the game.
yeah. And that is another like that's an excellent point that I wanted to make is, I mean, if Kirby made it look so beautiful in HD and clay. Just imagine if they had launched,
Oh yeah.
if they had worked on like an Earthbound game that had the original clay style from the strategy guys, like on Wii U, that would have looked so good,
Yeah,
so
what
good
if they
that
did like
everybody will just flip out.
like a claymation version of Earthbound
I
with
I don't
like uh,
I don't know how to contain myself. Like, I think people will be like, well, people will first be upset because they didn't bring Earthbound 3 to USA and whatever. But Earthbound and Claymation, like Nintendo doing that top down 2D Claymation, like, think of the crazy attacks. Like, Earthbound is already crazy with their enemy attacks and the names and stuff. Them do a Claymation, they could go above and beyond in character designs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it will have looked so well that it will have probably put Wii U back on the top for a while, at least from a talking perspective.
yeah, I feel like Earthbound with the claymation, and then you use the textile stuff from Yoshi's Woolly World as their like clothes, or like the
Yeah.
even adding the realistic world that Pikmin has in there, or like just to put that in there would be that's just a beautiful game waiting to happen. And Nintendo has so many things at their disposal that, like, I, as much as I love the Wii U, I cannot wait to see what they produce on the NX with, all these rumored specs and stuff. Who knows what's real and what's not? But, like, I would love to see a full-fledged Fire Emblem game. I would love to see, F-Zero. Like, what would an F-Zero game look like on here? Like, I know Fast Racing Neo is basically F-Zero, but I want, like, F-Zero. It's I think the Wii U was super underappreciated, but I also think I feel like Nintendo's resources are so scattered between the two consoles, or the two systems, with 3DS and everything, that, if whatever the NX is, if it's the hybrid console, if they have all hands on deck for one console, like, I feel like Sony and Microsoft are like, I feel like they're secretly scared of Nintendo. And
no, I don't think they're scared. I think they're ready to follow what Nintendo does next, so they can outbeat them.
Like they always do. But that's a conversation for another day for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this with the NX coming. I still don't care for third-party support for that system or any Nintendo system from now on because of what they what the content they give. I just want Nintendo and pretty much indie games to still support the system. Like third party, they could do whatever they want to, but I feel like that third party don't want to be creative on a Nintendo system, or they want Nintendo to pay them exclusively to make a game for that system. And I really don't care for that or want that. I would rather Nintendo give me great quality games and indie, and and keep supporting indies. Like, still work with Unity. If they feel like they want to do Unreal Engine 4, that's fine. Probably implement Square Enix engine that they're using for Final Fantasy 15, the Lumina or something like that, or whatever engine that they call that. Like, just make sure that good games and great art styles and stuff that we're going to talk about and become memorable with continue to come up for NX. Like, because I feel like a lot of great stuff came out for Wii U that people just didn't care for because they was so hyped on what third party had to offer. And one of my things is that, like I said, if you're a third party company and your game comes out and half of the copies that you sold that you boast about is at GameStop, that's a problem.
Yeah. Hey, as long as we get Metroid Destiny on NX.
Oh no, I'm still against that. 100%.
Man. Yeah, the Wii U is a great console. I feel bad. I feel sorry for the people who didn't experience some of these games on there, and like,
they're missing out.
Nintendo kind of is fading away from the younger generation in terms of nostalgia, and I think that's where we kind of get hooked on that, because a lot of kids are growing up on touchscreen stuff, which I think Nintendo is smart in getting into the mobile market, and the gamepad was kind of trying to capture that, but didn't quite capture it. But even people our age that have written off Nintendo because of what the Wii was, and now, the Wii U didn't sell well, and they were just like, well, I'm not going to buy a console for just Nintendo games. Like, yeah, you should buy a console for Nintendo games because they're some of the best games on the market. And, like,
right.
Nintendo is so underappreciated these days that, like, I feel like I don't want them to get lost, and I really want the NX to be something that stands out.
I think people are puzzled on why Nintendo is still in the business and still successful, and pretty much why people still talk about them. Like, I think people feel like, Nintendo is a system that just makes stuff for that cater to kids. No, Nintendo makes great quality games, and you get pissed off when people talk about them in a positive way. Like people, you think that gamers are supposed to be walking away from Nintendo, and it's just like no, Nintendo is pretty much delivering the stuff that defines what a video game is. They don't talk about they don't use big words and talk about online functionality. They don't show trailers of what the game is going to be supposed to look like, and you don't have an idea of what the gameplay is going to be. Like Nintendo comes out and be like, this is our art style. This is some of the stuff that you could do. Heck, people are still watching the Smash Brother reveals of the characters and learning the combos and stuff. Like people got hyped about Mega Man and stuff. Like that's what Nintendo is. Like trust me, I got more out of watching Nintendo's conference and stuff than I did about Bethesda with Prey and Quake Challenge. Like really, like I still don't know what those games are really about. But Nintendo would be cool enough to show me, hey, this is what we're working on. We're going to talk a little bit about it, and this is the fun stuff that's in the game, and and the stuff like that sells to me.
Yeah, for sure. I am with you there that I was really confused on what Prey was supposed to be. Honestly, I feel like it's may be a futuristic Dishonored, but I mean, that's a topic for another set of shows completely. But we're gonna wrap up this discussion, but quickly, what are your guys' favorite Wii U games?
Super Mario 3D World, Bayonetta 2, Shovel Knight, Guacamelee, The Legend of Zelda, of course, Wind Waker HD, and Twilight Princess HD. Beautiful Joe 10, not Beautiful Joe. Sorry, Wonderful 101. Xenoblade Chronicles X, Super Smash Brothers.
Said
Zombie
favorite,
U.
not at least a favorite, Edward.
I'm sorry. I still need to unwrap my Star Fox Zero. I still gotta play that. Sorry, I've been playing other stuff. But pretty much those like are some Pikmin 3, Super Mario, Wii U.
Are you reading the Wii U wiki page to see if you're
Splatoon. I mean, Splatoon. Like it surprised me on how fun that game still is to this very day. Like it's one of the games that you pop in and you can play for hours. Like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna play 5 matches. Didn't realize that it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You've been playing since like 10 in the afternoon. Like it's that kind of game.
Yeah, and the way that game did the 3-minute matches and like that, there's so many smart things about that game that you wouldn't think would be great ideas, but end up being great ideas. It's great. Adrian, what are some of your favorite Wii U games? What do you suggest people who should go buy a Wii U now?
I will say my favorite indie game on the Wii U is of course Shovel Knight. I think it plays beautiful on the Wii U. However, my exclusive Nintendo game on the Wii U, I will say Mario Maker. It's just great the way it uses the gamepad in probably the best way to use it, and there's just so many Mario levels to play. It's just unbelievable. That's why it's my favorite Wii U game. It's just infinite Mario games. I mean, what else can we say about that?
I mean, it lets you create and you really sit back and think about. It's a good thing to use to teach about gravity, because like really the Mario games, it's about gravity and how it works. Like if you got to time your jumps, you got to put the platforms right. All of that is based kind of around gravity, and Mario Maker does it perfectly. Wish Adrian, I need to start playing more of your levels, and I need to start making some more levels.
I haven't made one in a couple. Well, I guess a couple months now. But yeah, I guess I want to just go back into Mario Maker and just play like crazy though. Like I think I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, I love all everything I've played on Wii U. I absolutely adore, and like there's some games I still need to get to, like Xenoblade Chronicles X. I still need to sink some time into that. I need to play that, and I need to play Twilight Princess HD because I want to reflect on how these games affect affected Breath of the Wild and like how that game evolved from these, because Monolith is working on Breath of the Wild. But in terms of Wii U games, Shovel Knight is the best indie game by far on any console, I think, right now. So especially with all that free content and the expansions that have come out and the amiibo support for multiplayer, like Shovel Knight hands down is one of the best games I've ever played. But in terms of Nintendo exclusives, Mario Maker's one. I haven't really dived into creating levels because I'm not great at making levels, but
do it,
playing other people's levels is so much fun. And Super Mario 3D World, it's the first Mario game I've gotten into since Mario 64 that I really sunk a ton of time in and tried to collect every little thing. It recaptured my love for Mario, which ties it back to the first topic, like why Mario is so iconic. And this game is so vastly under talked about in terms of platformers and Mario in general. And it's just so creative the way it gives you these little bite-sized experiences, but still the levels are so well designed and so challenging, especially towards the end.
And give us Captain Toad Treasure Tractor, which is still one of the greatest games. Oh, I love that game.
Yeah, I know. It's so good.
Oh, I'm sorry, Corey.
But
I'm just getting so happy about Nintendo.
I know.
Yes,
Captain Toad. But that's gonna wrap up our show. We all have some things that we need to take care of, so maybe we'll just continue this discussion a year from now when Zelda comes out. But Adrian, Edward, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you download Tuna Cycle, Adrian's game. Dude, I played it today on break at work for like 20 minutes. It's so good. It is seriously so good. It's so addicting. Edward, your podcasts are great. I love World 1-1. I love that you're here with me every other show that we do. It's fun. Adrian, I wish you could join us more often, but you're always so busy, like, because you're pro game maker now.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I've joined quite regularly, and I really like that, for sure.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for joining us this week. You can find all of our content on digitalnerdadvocates.com and our YouTube page. Sorry, Edward, we're not taking the time to plug all your super awesome things.
That's fine.
World 1-1 podcast, optional opinion. Look for his blogs on our website and multiple other websites. Adrian, check him out on thefrozenmachine.com and check out his game Tuna Cycle. You can find all of our content on digitalnerdadvocates.com and our YouTube page. Like, subscribe, and share. And until next week, we are out.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo.